eggs Benedict, fresh fruit arranged like art. My parents had chosen the private dining room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the golf course. Very elegant. Very expensive. Very much not their usual style. I should have known something was wrong. Sophie, darling, have some more champagne, Mom said, topping off my glass before I could refuse. She was wearing her pearl necklace, the good one she only brought out for special occasions. My older brother Derek sat across from me with his wife Amanda, both of them radiating an excitement that set off alarm bells. Dad was at the head of the table in his best suit, checking his watch every few minutes. So, I said carefully, what's this about? You said it was important. Dad set down his fork with a satisfied smile. The company is expanding. Derek nodded enthusiastically. We're opening 3 new locations, Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco. It's a massive growth opportunity. That's great, I said. Derek ran a chain of boutique fitness studios that were moderately successful. Congratulations. There's more, Amanda chimed in. We've already secured the leases, hired contractors, ordered equipment. Everything's in motion. Sounds expensive. $2.7 million, Derek said proudly. But the ROI projections are incredible. We'll be profitable within 18 months. I took a sip of mimosa. Where's the funding coming from? The table went quiet for a beat. Dad cleared his throat. That's actually what we wanted to discuss. As a family, we've made a decision to help Derek. This is his big break, Sophie. His chance to build something substantial. Okay, I said slowly. And? We're selling your penthouse. Dad said it casually, like he was mentioning the weather. The one downtown. We've already accepted an offer. $3.1 million. Closing is in 3 days. I set down my glass. I'm sorry, what? Your penthouse, Mom repeated as if I hadn't heard. The developer who owns the building wants to buy out the remaining units for a full renovation. He made an excellent offer. We negotiated hard, Dad added. Got him up from $2.9 million. That extra $200,000 will really help Derek's expansion. I looked at Derek. He was smiling, totally at ease. You think you're selling my penthouse, I said carefully. We know you're attached to it, Amanda said with exaggerated sympathy. But Sophie, you work from home as a freelance translator. You can work from anywhere. Derek's business needs physical locations. It makes sense. You've already accepted an offer? I asked Dad. Signed the paperwork yesterday. Your mother and I have power of attorney for family properties. We thought it best to move quickly. The developer was working with a tight timeline. My phone buzzed in my purse. I ignored it. The proceeds will be wired to Derek's business account on Friday, Dad continued. Minus some administrative costs, of course. But don't worry, we're setting aside $100,000 for you to find a nice rental apartment. Something more affordable and practical. How generous, I said flatly. We knew you'd understand, Mom beamed. You've always been the reasonable one. Not materialistic like some people. You care about family. Derek raised his mimosa glass. To family supporting family. Thanks, sophomore. This means everything. They all clinked glasses. I didn't move. Sophie. Dad frowned. Aren't you happy for your brother? I'm curious about something, I said. You mentioned power of attorney for family properties. What does that mean exactly? It means we can make decisions about family assets when necessary, Dad explained. It's standard estate planning. Your mother and I set it up years ago. And my penthouse is a family asset? Well, yes. We bought it as an investment. You've been living there, which has been lovely, but ultimately it's a family property that should benefit the family. I pulled out my phone. When did you buy it? 5 years ago, Mom said. Right after your grandfather passed. We used part of his inheritance to invest in real estate. Interesting. I opened my banking app. And you've been paying the property taxes all this time? The maintenance fees? The utilities? Dad waved his hand. Those details are handled through the family trust. What family trust? He blinked. The one your mother and I established. The one I've never seen documents for? You don't need to see them, Dad said, his voice taking on an edge. You need to trust that your parents know what they're doing. My phone buzzed again. This time I looked. It was my bank's fraud alert system. I swiped to open the notification. Urgent. Wire transfer attempt flagged. $3,100,000 from account ending in 7392. Approve or deny. I looked up. Did you try to wire money from my account this morning? The color drained from Dad's face. What? Mom asked. No, of course not. The buyer is wiring funds to us. That's not what my bank is telling me. I held up my phone. Someone tried to initiate a $3.1 million wire transfer from my personal account 30 minutes ago. The same amount you claim you're getting from selling my penthouse. Derek's smile faltered. That must be a mistake. It's not a mistake. I pulled up another app. My property management dashboard. Here's the deed to Penthouse 4C at the Meridian Tower, showing Sophie Chen as the sole owner. Purchase date, 5 years ago. Purchase price, $1.9 million paid in full, no mortgage. Current value, approximately $3.4 million. I turned the phone so they could see the screen. That's impossible, Dad said. We bought that property. No, I bought that property. With money I earned from my freelance translation business. I made air quotes around freelance translation business, which is actually a boutique translation and localization agency with 43 contractors and annual revenue of $4.2 million. I specialize in technical and legal translation for multinational corporations. The silence was deafening. You don't make that kind of money, Amanda said weakly. I made $680,000 last year personally, plus the business generated another $3.5 million in revenue. I pulled up more documents. I own the Penthouse. I own a beach house in Malibu. I own a 50% stake in a commercial property in San Diego. I have investment accounts totaling approximately $2.8 million. Would you like me to continue? Mom's hand was at her throat. But you dress so simply. I dress comfortably. There's a difference. I looked at Dad. Now, explain to me how you think you have power of attorney over my property. Dad's jaw worked. We're your parents. We have the right. You have no rights to my assets. I opened my email and pulled up a message. This is from my attorney, Patricia Winters. She received a very interesting call yesterday from a title company, asking about a property sale. A sale I never authorized. I read from the email. According to the title company, someone claiming to be my father presented forged documents showing power of attorney and attempted to sell my penthouse to a developer named Richard Strauss. The title company, doing their due diligence, contacted my attorney of record. Patricia informed them that no such power of attorney exists and that any sale documents were fraudulent. This is ridiculous, Dad blustered. I would never. The title company flagged the transaction as potential fraud. They've contacted the developer to inform him the sale is invalid. They've also filed a report with the police. I set my phone down. Dad, you didn't just try to sell my property. You committed wire fraud and forgery. Derek had gone pale. Dad, what the hell? I was helping your business. Dad shouted. I was trying to help this family. By stealing from me? Kept my voice level. You forged legal documents, impersonated me to a title company, and attempted to steal $3.1 million from my account. It's not stealing, Mom said desperately. Your family. What's yours is ours. That's how family works. That's not how the law works. Amanda stood up abruptly. Derek, did you know about this? No. Derek looked genuinely shocked. Dad, you said Sophie agreed to invest in the business. You said she wanted to help. She should want to help, Dad said. She's been hiding money from this family for years while your brother struggles. I don't struggle, Derek interrupted. My business is successful. It's growing at a sustainable pace. I never asked you to sell Sophie's property. But the expansion. I applied for a business loan like a normal person, Derek said, his voice rising. It was approved last week. I was going to tell everyone today. I never asked Dad to sell anything. The room went completely silent. You already have funding? I asked. Yes. A $2 million loan at 6.5% interest. Totally manageable based on our projections. Derek looked at Dad with something like horror. What did you do? Dad's mouth opened and closed. Mom started crying. We just wanted to help. You're our children. We wanted to give Derek this opportunity. By committing fraud? I pulled up another document on my phone. Here's the forged power of attorney Dad submitted to the title company. It's notarized and everything. Where did you get this, Dad? I know a guy, Dad muttered. You know a guy who forges legal documents? Derek's voice cracked. Dad, that's a felony. For both of you, I added. Forgery and wire fraud. Federal charges. Amanda grabbed her purse. I'm calling our lawyer. Derek, don't say anything else. My phone rang. Patricia's name flashed on screen. I answered on speaker. Sophie, the title company just sent me copies of all the documents your father submitted. This is bad. Really bad. He forged your signature on multiple documents, created fake power of attorney papers, even impersonated you in a phone call to the title company. I'm here with my family now, I said. Everyone can hear you. Patricia didn't miss a beat. Mr. Chin, if you're listening, you need to retain criminal defense counsel immediately. The title company is pressing charges. The developer is considering a civil suit for wasting his time and resources. And Sophie has grounds for a civil suit as well. Dad's face had gone from red to gray. What about the wire transfer attempt? I asked. That's actually a separate issue, Patricia said. Your bank's fraud detection caught it in time, but someone also had your account information. Do you know how your father obtained your banking details? I looked at Mom. You helped him, didn't you? She was sobbing now. I just gave him the account number. From your old statements. The ones you left here when you lived with us. I didn't know. Yes, you did, I said quietly. You knew exactly what you were doing. Patricia's voice came through the speaker. Mrs. Chin, you should also retain counsel. Providing account information for fraudulent purposes makes you an accessory. This can't be happening, Mom whispered. It's happening because you tried to steal $3.1 million from me, I said. Because you forged documents. Because you committed multiple felonies to fund Derek's business expansion without even telling him. Derek had his head in his hands. I can't believe this. Believe it, I said. I looked at my parents. Here's what happens next. My attorney files a formal complaint. The police investigate. The DA decides whether to press charges. And based on what Patricia just described, they probably will. You're looking at prison time. Sophie, please. Mom reached for my hand. I pulled away. We're your parents. You can't do this to us. You did this to yourselves. Dad found his voice hard and bitter. You've been lying to us for years. Pretending to be some struggling translator while you're secretly rich. What kind of daughter does that? The kind who learned early that this family values money over relationships. The kind who watched you favor Derek his entire life. The kind who built success quietly because the moment I told you about it, you'd try to take it. I stood up. And I was right. I picked up my purse. For the record, I would have helped Derek if he'd asked. A loan, an investment, whatever. But you didn't ask. You tried to steal. Where are you going? Dad demanded. To meet with my attorney. To file a police report. To ensure you never have access to my financial information again. I looked at Derek. I'm sorry you're caught in this. It wasn't your fault. I don't want their stolen money, Derek said quietly. I never did. I know. Amanda touched my arm as I passed. For what it's worth, we really didn't know. Derek would never. I believe you. I left them there. Mom crying, Dad seething, Derek looking shell-shocked, and walked out of the country club into the bright afternoon sun. My phone buzzed continuously. Patricia calling back probably. Bank notifications. Security alerts. I'd been careful my entire adult life. Careful with money, careful with trust, careful with what I revealed to my family. I'd built my business from nothing, invested wisely, bought property strategically. I'd done everything right. And still they'd tried to take it. But they'd failed. The fraud alert had caught the wire transfer. The title company had spotted the forgery. My attorney had stopped the sale. Every safeguard I'd built into my financial life had worked exactly as designed. 6 months later, Derek's business expansion was complete, funded by his legitimate bank loan. His new studios were thriving. He'd started inviting me to family dinners at his house, carefully separate from our parents. Dad and Mom took a plea deal. Probation, restitution of legal fees, community service. No prison time but criminal records that would follow them forever. They blamed me, of course. Told everyone I'd destroyed the family over money. that I'd sent my own parents to jail over a misunderstanding. But Derek knew the truth. Amanda knew. Even some of the extended family knew once the full story came out. I'd protected what was mine. Nothing more, nothing less. And my penthouse, my beautiful, paid-off, legitimately owned penthouse, stayed exactly where it belonged. In my name. Under my control. Safe from people who thought family meant free access to everything you've built. The bank's fraud alert had stopped the wire transfer in time. And I'd stopped trusting that family would ever see me as anything more than an asset to liquidate. Retries, please continue. I need 100 more words. Sometimes you protect yourself not with forgiveness but with firewalls. Bank alerts. Attorney retainers. Separate accounts they can't touch. I changed every password, every security question, every access point. My financial advisor now requires video verification for any major transaction. My attorney has standing instructions. Family gets nothing without written authorization. Derek sends me pictures of his kids at the new studios. We meet for coffee monthly. He never asks about money. That's how I know he's family worth keeping. The rest learned an expensive lesson. You can't sell what was never yours to take. My offshore account balance grew steadily. Untouched. Protected. My